Hey everybody, this is Dustin on Gaming, trying something a little bit different tonight. So last Monday I did Archgaze's Naya Evolution combo deck. I think from now on I'm going to try every Monday to take a deck that performed well this past weekend and, you know, kind of spotlight it a little bit, work on it a little bit, get to know it a little bit. You know, decks that maybe did well that are a little out there, like Archgage's Naya Evolution list. This particular week is a list by Aintrazi that he used to win the SCG Standard Classic. This was a list he's been working on Cool Stuff Inc. for a couple weeks. It's a combination of the Mirari Conjecture list he's been playing and Lich's Mastery. So basically this is a mid-range control list that's trying to ramp and set up Lich's Mastery and then infinite turns from there. So Lich's Mastery is kind of a weird one. It's kind of a take on Lich and some other stuff. Whenever you gain life, you draw cards. Whenever you lose life, for each one life lost, you exile a permanent you control, a card from your hand or a card from the graveyard. The enchantment has hexproof, so your opponent can't target it. However, you can lose the game once you run out of permanents, cards to exile, all that crap. So, this is generally a card you only want to set up when your things are fairly stable on the board and you're not staring down, like, you know, 10, 12 power in play, etc. And the rest of the deck's pretty much kind of a mid-range control deck to get you to that point. The reason you're playing Lich's Mastery is to abuse Chance for Glory. Now, Chance for Glory is an extra turn spell. It's a little weird because it's Boros colors, and then at the end of the extra turn, you lose the game. Well, Lich's Mastery says you can't lose the game, so you set up Chance for Glory, play Lich's Mastery, and all of a sudden you're taking extra turns with no drawback. And then you have the Mirari Conjecture to take advantage of that by getting back Chance for Glory, copying it on the third turn, taking a bunch of extra turns. And then in the sideboard, you have a one-of copy of Nature's Spiral. Nature's Spiral allows you to get back a permanent from your graveyard. Well, you know, Mirari Conjecture seems to be a pretty nice permanent in that combination. So, you get to recur Mirari Conjecture's Chances for Glory and your Nature's Spiral to, you know, basically take infinite turns and kill your opponent however you see fit. In order to set that up, you have Mastermind's Acquisition in the sideboard, or in the main deck. It's a card that saw play in some of the green-black ramp decks of last standard season, and then you have Gift of Paradise to help ramp you to that. You also have some other cards, get to that in a second. But Lich's Mastery is interesting because whenever you gain life, you draw additional cards. So a card like Revitalize suddenly becomes 1 and a white, draw 4 cards, gain 3 life. Gift of Paradise suddenly becomes ramp plus draw 3 cards. Vraska's Contempt becomes exile target creature or planeswalker, draw 2 cards. So on and so forth. So, deck can really abuse things in high gear once you get a Lich's Mastery into play. In order to set that up, you have Settle the Wreckage and Cleansing Nova, as well as Vraska's Contempt to kill various creatures and kind of keep the board clear. Mirari Conjecture to kind of recur your things until you find your Lich's Mastery. Discovery Dispersal to kind of get you to the point where you can find the cards you need to find. Also, you know, obviously Dispersal, if you happen to get to that point, you know, copying that seems like a pretty vicious spell to copy. And then one-of copy of Expansion Explosion. Another way to copy various things, also can kill your opponent, you know, by either drawing them out or damaging them. Copy with Mirari Conjecture, etc. But it's not your primary way to win, but that's your main way to win in your main deck. Mastermind's Inquisition or Acquisition obviously sets up, you know, the rest of your cards in your sideboard you use to kill your opponent, or stuff you need in a bullet case, you know, like against a control deck, etc. So, sideboard is a combination of some interesting cards. Banefire, according to Ellie's article, that's the main thing you use to kind of kill most opponents, is a large Banefire. Mortal Sun here to give you card advantage and lock out your opponent's planeswalkers. Knight of Autumn, it slices, it dices, it comes in against aggro decks, it comes in against control decks, can knock out problematic enchantments or artifacts. Deafening Clarion is kind of a bullet in your sideboard you can get with Mastermind's Acquisition to be a sweeper. Thief of Sanity, Carnage Tyrants all come in against control decks for the most part. This is quite the grindy engine against an opponent not expecting creatures. Carnage Tyrant, obviously this card's difficult to kill. Duress comes in control matchups to kind of poke holes in your opponent's strategy. And then Lyra's pretty good against the aggressive decks as kind of a way to kind of stabilize the board and such. So, that's the deck. I'm definitely going to be misplaying at some point tonight, so I apologize for that in advance. I know there's been a few comments about level of play, and this is just a friendly reminder. Most of my playtesting is done on camera, so if you want to criticize, that's fine, but just be aware, I'm not going to play anything perfectly, because I don't have 12 hours to devote to mastering a deck before I stream it. Sorry, guys. Anyways, this is just a reminder. This is Dusk for Dusted on Gaming. If you like what you're seeing, please consider hitting that subscribe button. If you like these particular videos, please give it a thumbs up. If you have any type of constructive or useful feedback, please feel free to sound off in the comments. And with that, let's get into some gameplay. I already played one match with the deck, but it was against an opponent who was playing a kind of weird deck, so... Deck is definitely sweet. Seems it's a combo mid-range control deck, so it's kind of like a little bit of everything. This hand's a little weird, but I think we keep it. Got a Discovery Dispersal to kind of set up our draws a little bit. Golgari. Hopefully Golgari. Definitely looks like some style of Golgari deck. Maybe the Carnage Tyrant build. Gift of Paradise and Mirari Conjecture. So... as much as I want to draw that, I think we'll go ahead and draw that Gift of Paradise, but we do need green mana to unlock it. We pass here, just planning on revitalizing on end step. Let's get rid of that Vraska there. Alright, so what can we do this turn? Gives us access to 3 mana, which is not really what we're after here. Next turn we get to play a Mirari Conjecture. So... much mana do I want access to? I want access to 8 mana here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So yeah, I guess we gotta shock this in. At least get a... Huh. Guess we take Contempt here. It's definitely an interesting deck against these slower, grindy, mid-range decks. It's unfortunate. Sure. Lich's Mastery, huh? How much mana do I have access to? Guess our opponent could have another Assassin's Trophy here, so don't want to go too nuts on things. Not going to cast anything, because if our opponent has an Assassin's Trophy, obviously we can kind of get got here. Or wait for them to tap out and cast this Chance for Glory. Has an Assassin's Trophy, this should bring it out. Feels like this game is over. Don't want to risk taking extra turns in case our opponent does have an Assassin's Trophy. Basically set up the infinite turn loop here. Go grab Nature Spiral. Alright, opponent gives it up. So, against Golgari, how does he recommend sideboarding? Granted, this isn't an exact list, given the fact that he's change the list over some weeks. Alright, what does he recommend against Golgari? 1 Deafening Clarion, down 2 Assassin's Trophies that are no longer in the deck. So, get that in, get that in. Revitalize, is he running in this list? Not really sure what we're supposed to cut here. Expansion Explosion sideboard. Sure. Go ahead and play 1 2-man queue, so please get some usefulness out of it. Yep. So this seems pretty sweet. I mean, obviously it has some pedigree behind it. He has, he made the top 4 of a PPTQ. He won a classic with it. He also played it at, Man, these hands look really weird. I think we keep it because we've got Discovery Dispersal here. And if we find a green source, we're kind of off to the races. Of course, this is mono blue, and then we kind of hate our lives, but such is life. Search for his cans is an interesting one. This might be mono blue, which could be a rough matchup. You do have 26 lands, so that's a positive at least. Yep. Didn't find a green source, but solving this search for his Kanta is going to be pretty good too, I have a feeling. So, maximum velocity, so an Arc-like Phoenix deck. Feels like an Arc-like Phoenix deck. Chart, of course, sure. Nope. Don't have anything extra to play this turn anyway, so we'll just go ahead and do that. See what these Arc-like Phoenix decks are running. Alright, sorry. Ironically, don't have that many counter spells in the main deck. There's kind of a velocity deck, it looks like. Nope, I think we want to land. Do they actually have any... So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Is there any cards in my sideboard here that can just deal with this stupid thing for 2 mana? Not exactly. So I guess we just hold up, settle the wreckage here. Not exactly my favorite plan against a deck that might be playing some amount of counter spells. Yep, resolves. Ooh, cool. Sweet. One's gonna walk right into a settle the wreckage. Brutality. Yeah, let's put that one in the graveyard. One, two, three, four, five, six. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Sorry, just looking at the sideboard to see if we even have anything here. Dig here. Alright, play a land this turn. Definitely interested in both those cards. Sure. You got the crackling Drake. Yep. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Only 8 mana here. It's kind of unfortunate. So, huh. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, we're one short of where I want to be here, so I guess we have to cast this. Hopefully we find one of our sweepers. So we could easily die here. Currently representing 15 damage. Huh. If we had an Assassin's Trophy, we could go and get that, but I guess card we do have for right now is go and grab a Revitalize. Revitalize should keep us alive through basically whatever they do here. Should probably actually go ahead and cast this now. Yeah, we could still potentially die here, I guess, but it's a card that most likely keeps us alive through the next turn. Deck's got some trickiness to it, I'll grant that much. Yep, I think we're dead here. Crash through, huh? It's quite an interesting little deck they've got there. Even in the sideboard, ironically, don't have that many counter spells. Clarion doesn't really do much. Maybe we want... Duresses really aren't that good against what they're doing either. Guess we just submit our main deck and try to do a better job of sequencing our spells. So it isn't too bad. Our deck obviously has a lot of velocity. Our deck has some velocity, but needs to set up its key cards. Here comes Cackles. Looks like their main thing is the Drakes. The Crackling Drakes, the Enigma Drakes, and the Arclight Phoenixes. Sure. Ideally, we'd love to draw land so we can double sell this next turn. Past our opponent here. Sure. I think you'd wait till after combat to do that, though. Guess if you're trying to push Bringing back Arclight Phoenix, I guess that makes sense. We have access to 7 mana here. Go ahead and pass here. Hopefully we can settle the wreckage. Okay. Definitely feels like they're holding up staying full stroke. Yeah, if they have Spell Pierce, they have Spell Pierce. There's nothing we can do to play around that. Does not look like they have Spell Pierce. Two, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. Gain 3 life, draw 3 cards, seems pretty good. Alright. Is there anything against what our opponent's trying to do that we want to bring in? Other than Arclight Phoenix and the commons and uncommons, this looks like a pretty sweet deck to try out on Arena. The Drake's deck, that is. So, something to keep in mind. Still don't think we changed anything here. I guess we could theoretically bring in the Duresses to kind of clear the way of counter spells. Doesn't necessarily feel like we need the combo quite as much here. Try it like that. Sans mana is a little bit slow. Crackling Drake. Just take a Tormenting Voice here, right? Charter Course is fine. Cantripping, that's not really gaining you any true velocity, is fine by me. This Discovery, whatchamacallit, is almost perfect in this deck. So 2 tap lands. So I definitely need a white source. I don't think I need another, because we have the untap land next turn for Vraska's Contempt on this Crackling Drake. It's already a 2-for-1, which is annoying, but it's kind of whatever. It's a lot of Mirari Conjectures. We'll just plan on Chemister's Inciting this turn. Don't really want to take damage where I can avoid it. Sure. Actually, I should have Chemister's Insight in response. Then they would have gotten to draw this extra card. Sure. See if this resolves. Probably not. Still probably earn a disdainful stroke. Yep, that's fine. Got plenty more where those came from, friend. Another nib, is it? Yep. Gotta try, I guess. There's a good chance this just gets countered and the game's over, but... Yep. I think we're dead now, aren't we? Sure. Good games. Well, I mean, got to play a couple short matches here with Mr. Aintrazi's list, and man, this thing's a piece of work. Yeah, definitely some misplays in there with the should have Raskas contempted the Niv during my turn, because there's a good chance they still had a dive down or a whatchamacallit, freehand, disdainful stroke or a dive down. But that deck definitely seems pretty sweet. It's definitely something I'm gonna try putting together sooner rather than later on Magic Arena. But as for this list, I mean, obviously there's a lot of flexibility in the slots. Discovery is pretty good in setting up your early draws. Helps you dig towards your Gifts of Paradise, your green sources, your various sweepers. This is a very mana-hungry deck, so you definitely need to be able to find and get to your interesting pieces. Chance for Glory, we didn't get a chance to do that combo, but maybe if we play some more in the future. Divination, Chemist's Insight helps you dig in addition to Discover here. Lich's Mastery, obviously pretty insane when we get to start going off with that. The Sweeper package is pretty nice, being able to play Subtle Wreckage and Cleansing Nova. Deck's pretty sweet, but definitely a lot of choices and a lot of sequencing and stuff. You're a little bit clunky in terms of vulnerability to counter spells. I'm not exactly sure why he cut the Assassin's trophies. There's a few things in there that we wouldn't have minded having access to an Assassin's trophy, just to kind of help clean up. I guess Vraska's Contempt's a cleaner answer, but there's a couple times I felt like we could use the Assassin's trophy to, you know, kill our opponent's creatures when we were a little bit low on things. But other than that, I mean, the deck seems pretty solid. Needs a lot of practice to play perfectly. Most Aintrazi lists are very complicated and a little bit convoluted, so not surprising. But this is a pretty sweet list I wanted to bring to you guys. Look up his articles on Cool Stuff Inc. It's from from 2 Fridays ago, and then the Friday before that. So he's done quite a bit of work with this deck. This is the same guy that's brought a lot of different various brews to different standard formats. This is the guy that brought the Esper Taking Turns deck in last standard season. And I mean, this is a deck that's still early in the format, and its mana is probably only going to get better. So keep an eye out for this deck list. Deck seems pretty sweet, and the standard seems pretty sweet. As far as content the rest of the week, tomorrow night we'll probably be doing a little bit of work on Jancevic's Boros Soldiers list, and maybe play a few matches with Burn tomorrow. Wednesday night's going to be a little bit more of a formal stream. We're going to have some Boros Burn and something else probably. I'm not quite sure what. But I'm going to go ahead and get off here, get this video uploaded to YouTube, and play a little bit of World of Warcraft, doing a little bit of Headless Horseman thing for my rogue before that event is over. But this has been Dusk for Stood On Gaming. Thanks for tuning into this video. Sorry it wasn't a live stream, but I knew it was going to be a shorter one, and I wanted to be able to kind of concentrate on my play lines a little bit better. Sometimes that's not always possible while streaming. But yeah, if you like sweet standard lists, give this one a whirl. If you have access to the cards, it's a pretty sweet list. It's a mid-range control list, a little bit of ramp, a little bit of control, a little bit of combo, pretty much a little bit of everything, as long as you don't want to play with counterspells. So, this has been Dusk for Stood On Gaming. Hope everyone has a great day.